We cannot have a team in Premier League that is not sponsored, and another team is sponsored by 10 or more companies. Hi, what's up, beautiful people? My name is Masero, and I'm the founder of Sports 360. Sports 360 is a sports business consultancy company that is aimed at bridging the gap between football administrators and football investors, or just sports in general. For the context of this video, we're going to be speaking from the point of football. So right now, I want you to understand that we have two worlds, the business world and the football world. The business understand their business goals. Every business has a strategic plan that they want to achieve this goal. And usually, they use the marketing function to help achieve these goals. On the other side, we have sports. Sports in the context of football, we have a football administrator who understands fixtures, fans, competitions, and everything around sports. Now, these two worlds usually don't meet, though over the years they've been trying to communicate. And I think that is the major problem that we have in Botswana, that we have seen sponsorships not having sustainability plans, not even continuing to the next season, having football administrators getting exhausted over and over again to revamp, to work on proposals on something that is constant. Now, let me tell you, football is constant. The football that we knew yesterday is the same football today. The only things that change is the rules of the game. But the sport remain the sport. So right now, I want to tell you something. We are currently in off-season, right? And conversations have begun already that the Premier League, which is the highest football asset in Botswana, requires sponsorships. And somebody's in the office and is expecting a football administrator to come to the office to sit down with a proposal and ask for sponsorships. And I think that is where we are getting it wrong. Gone are the days where I'll call them traditional marketers. Traditional marketers will sit down and wait for proposals. And the next thing they're going to look over the proposal and say, oh no, this we can do, or this we cannot do, or let's go and think about it. So in this case, an entity will come to sponsor sports, then we will handle whatever that is required. We will help the sports administrator package whatever that they can offer to the investor. Then we manage what the investor is expectant of, or the investor is expecting on their behalf, to ensure that they have a mutual beneficial relationship. So I don't want to dwell much on about our company, but you would see the understanding that we want to bring on the table. So the conversation begins. The Botswana Premier League requires sponsorship. As a marketing professional, I don't need to do any new proposal unless I want to do a business case that obviously I'm going to borrow other assets to present to the sponsor. But I want to tell you the greatest problem that we have. This is a national problem, but in the context of sports, the biggest problem we have is marketing departments and organizations. Just a short message to CEOs and MDs. The reason why you are not achieving your sales objectives is because of your marketing department. Marketing officials and professionals have become gatekeepers of what will take your business to the next level. I'm saying this because I want you to understand that gone are the days where we would wait for football administrators to come knock into your door to seek for sponsorships, as if something has changed. But here is the time where your marketing team needs to be innovative and initiative, to look at football as a tool to deliver your sales goals. I want you to understand that football administrators only understand how to administrate football. If you're going to give them the responsibility of your return on investment, that is the biggest mistake. And that is where we come in. You are keen, you're interested in sponsoring football, but you know over the years that you are likely not going to get a return on investment, it is not because there's something wrong with football. It's because there is a gap. And we are that gap filler. At World Cup, there was this roll-on company, Rexona. Rexona was the official sponsor for the World Cup. But they did something on the branding for referees. They branded here, and I think also on the side, because when the referee, the one that does the mesh board, lifts the thingy, you will see the sign here. So they strategically placed. And trust me, on a normal day, no football administrator will guide you on that path. Like a typical football administrator will not guide you. But a football administrator or somebody who understands the world of football and the world of investment will be able to identify elements in which you can invest. So recently I was going through online and conversation came about how people don't turn up to games and how, for example, the Premier League got sponsorships after 4 years of drought, and we were all excited and we're looking forward to seeing the changes or actually seeing people coming back. But people are asking, why are people not fascinated or why are people not attending matches? Before I get into that, let me try to say, why are people attending certain matches? So maybe in between the lines, we'll be able to identify why exactly people don't attend matches in general. There are category A games, like, matches against Center Chiefs, against Joining Galaxy, and against Tafik, against Gaborone United, right? And those matches usually have influx of fans because of the teams. It is not because of the Premier League. Do you understand? Because of the teams. Premier League is a platform in which these teams comes to play. For example, let's use the case study of Muchiri Center Chiefs. Muchiri Center Chiefs has invested vigorously on their marketing. And every of their game, they do activations. Now, a sponsor would possibly want the results on a bigger scale that Muchiri Center Chiefs wants. That is the sponsor of the Premier League. But the sponsor is not putting effort in the secretariat to deliver what the Muchiri Center Chiefs is delivering. Rather, the sponsor will take the marketing money and give it to the agency that handles their advertising, activations, and marketing. Mind you, that agency do not have any idea of sports. All they know is the business of advertising as per the brief. And who draft the brief? As the people in the marketing department of a company or other sponsor. People working in the marketing office of the sponsor understand the marketing of their business, but they are limited in terms of marketing their business on this platform, which is football. So you see, no matter how much you can put all these things in an ecosystem, if you don't have a sports agency like ours that understand the business of football, then you won't achieve your goals. Because your agency is going to deliver to the core, to the T's of what you have written on the brief. Your team is going to think in as much as they are limited to how your marketing policies and marketing approaches are, and in as wild as they can research and find. But they will never understand how the world of sports is, unless if the organization has employed a marketing official that understands the business of sports internally, so that when they take the brief out to the agency, then they would have captured what is required. Let's just use the current league sponsorship as the case study. They came after a drought. It was a great thing for the Premier League. But over the years, we've seen lack of visibility, lack of fans in the pitch. And people have been asking, why is the Premier League sponsored and people are not going to the pitch? Why? Because, trust me, Botswana love football. Let me deviate a bit. Recently, we had the Clash of Legends. Personally, I did not plan to attend. But my partner came through and said, can we attend this game? Trust me, this game was faced against all odds. It was raining. It was extremely cold. It was not month end. Everything around this event in a traditional marketer's head would not work. I remember when I was walking in, as I was taking in, because I bought my ticket, it was not complimentary. When I was walking in, because I wanted to experience the Panda stand, I'm a lover of football, and I know experiential marketing when it comes to a product. So I know what experiential marketing is. Do you understand? So now, when we walk in there, guess what? There is an experiential marketing stall of the Clash of Legends activation, and that was Betway, right? So Betway did set up something where people were trying to score into the holes. It was let me break it down. Experiential marketing is a platform that you create for customers to have an experience of what you do, what you offer, like real time. For example, if it was toothpaste like Sensodyne, they'll bring, the chill test where you take a chilled Coke to see if you have sensitive teeth, or then you take something hot after to check the sensitivity of your teeth. So they had that experience, right? So when their customer base, their prospective customers came through, they managed to capture them. So when they captured them there, I was at Panda stand. Ladies and gentlemen, it was raining. We had to wear waterproofed jackets and warm jackets inner because it was extremely cold. There was nothing in our right mind that could, on a normal day, tell us to attend that game. First of all, I'm not so much fascinated about legends, but I'm fascinated about the game of football. And there's something about football, regardless of the teams playing, that would just elicit interest in me. And I think it happens to a lot of football lovers. That's why somebody would watch a game on TV and and it's not their team. Do you understand? We don't go to the field, to the pitches, to the stadiums because of the team that is playing there. We are going there because we love the game. So people are missing that point that right now, people are not going there because there's something with their love of the game. And that is one thing that we need to figure out. Why am I saying that there's nothing wrong with, actually there's something wrong with the love of the game? That we need to figure out, why is that love of the game not stirred up? Because now what we are seeing is lovers of the team. And when we get to a point where we see lovers of the team, it means that when that team is not playing, there's no active participation, there's no fan base. Now, I'm trying to think. The biggest problem in Botswana, it is not investment in sports. It's the main character syndrome. But in other ways. So you would see that there will be influx of sponsors towards a certain team because the team has been able to put themselves into a likable brand. Kudos to the team. But for the love of the game, they need to be equity, they need to be fairness, and they need to be reasonably competitive. You understand? You cannot have a team in Premier League that is not sponsored, and another team is sponsored by 10 or more companies. And there's nothing wrong with that team that is sponsored by 10 companies. I'm saying something is wrong with our marketing officials who exist in companies that compete to the one that has 10. I've seen how marketing drive competition. But there's nothing like that in Botswana. So let me give an example. The current sponsor for the Premier League is FNB. How many banks do we have in Botswana? So do you want to tell me that there is no banking institution that want to fight for the spotlight with FNB apart from Bank Gaborone, that is GU? First Capital, Stanbic, Standard Bank, Absa. Hello? Because the rule of the game is we have the title sponsor, but teams can actually get the title sponsors competitors. The same way we are seeing with Bank Gaborone. Right now, hello Absa, Tafik is red. Are you getting me? Hello Stanbic, Township Rollers is blue. If you see an entity being sponsored, 90% is not because of the proposal. 99.9999901% is because of a political influence. So whether the political influence comes from the game or the political influence comes from the politics of the country. I'm telling you. Now, if you're a marketing professional and you're listening to this, I want you to understand something about the consumer behavior of Botswana. Botswana market, I've studied it over a long period of time. It is very unique. You cannot make Botswana not to patronize something just because someone said negative about it. Because one thing about Botswana, they know the value of that thing before they can even hear a negative report about it. If the negative report does not affect the quality of the product or the brand, they're not bothered. They're not bothered. There's something that we call generic branding or generic brands in marketing, whereby you find all the toothpaste called Colgate. In Nigeria, that generic name is Close Up because it's dominant there. Where the lotions are Dawn, there's nothing you can tell to anyone not to use Dawn. So right now, teams like Tafik and Township Rollers are suffering because somebody somewhere understand that it is not ideal to associate with them because of the projected instability on social media. Because it's social media. In as much as, yes, certain reports may be correct, but come closer. Let's reason this together. A team is facing instability because of money. Not because of corruption. Not because of anything that is inevitable. And they're coming to you and say, help us with money. And you will say, I'm not giving you money until you sort your money issue. How ironic. Then we don't love the game. Because if you love the game and there's transparency to say, hey, we have backlog of salaries, we have backlog of pending expenses from the previous season, we therefore require your assistance. Then you say, no, my money is for it's for kids for that. They say, we can get the kid, but the players need to be paid salary. Because, guys, ladies and gentlemen, to run a team on a monthly basis, you need a minimum of 500,000 to run a team. Because let's just roughly calculate. No? A team has 25 players. And let's say your barest you can afford highest is 5,000 salary, which is not enough. I'm just using this 5,000 just for conversation's sake. So 25 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 carry 2. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 2. That's 12. 125. Ne? That's 125,000 6,000. Salaries only for players. What about coaches? Technical team. So let's say we have 6 members of technical team and they earn between 7.5 and 10,000. That's 10 times 5. That's 50,000 plus that plus 125. That's 50. That's 170, right? 175. What about transportation? Because in that month alone, possibly they're going to travel. So if you have a team that maybe is from Gaborone going to Francistown to Gaborone, trip is like 40 to 50,000. Only no return. So if you do that, that's like 200,000. The equipment, the lodging, the bonuses. So you understand? So in a month, a team needs at least 500,000. Then if a team is coming to say, we need a title sponsor. A title sponsor is somebody who embodies the major responsibilities of the budget. That's how it's translated. Then they proudly put you here and say, this is my mother, this is my guardian. But football entities have been continued to be robbed because they're desperate. Because they say a slice of bread is better than nothing. That's how football entities are moving. And the ones that are able to be funded, you can see the difference. Because how well can you have best performing players if you cannot buy players, if you cannot keep them with enticing salaries? So that is the biggest problem that we have. So right now, I'm like, let me just, out of my mind, list the companies that are associated in the whole Premier League ecosystem. At GU, we have ZEC Construction, we have Bank Gaborone, we have Sunbed, among others. So let me stick to the 3 big ones, right? Then we have Zone 2, who is the technical partner. Then at Township Rollers, we have Diadora, right? We only have Diadora at Township Rollers. Then at Tafik, we have none. And at John and Galaxy, they have the Galloway and they have the backing of the John community. If you know, you know. Then let me bring Orapa into the chat. Orapa too is more like an institutional. And BDF, institutional. Police, institutional. Prisons, institutional. Right? We have those teams. But the first teams that I called out, most of them are institutional teams. They have an affiliation with the institutions. But Township Rollers, Gaborone United, and Tafik being like the big teams, those are the teams that are up for grabs. That I feel like they should be like vigorous competition when it comes to them. These teams should not lack sponsorships. And maybe let me deviate and talk about why Tafik. Tafik is the only long-standing team. All the teams that are promoting and relegating are working around Tafik. So Tafik is the only team, predominant team, that exists in Francistown. And let me make it clear that for a team to remain in Premier League, to survive relegation, is not the duty of one person. Not the coach, not the technical team, it's everybody. The players, the person who cooks for the team, the person who cleans for the team, is a whole ecosystem, right? I'm listing this so that you understand that when you're sponsoring a team, it's a whole ecosystem. It's not just the players, it's not the technical team. Do you understand? So now, why must you sponsor Tafik? The question should be, why must you not? Why must you not? Because that's the only team to Francistown. And when we talk about diversification, when we talk about economy, and when we talk about economic transformation, we're talking about going to Francistown. And that's the only vehicle, because we know from May to August, from August to May, that's the vehicle you have for free. So all companies that exist in Francistown, you need to look within your corporate social responsibilities and do something for the whole team. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. And this was just an intro We're going to have more organized conversations lined up to just keep our train of thought. And I just wanted to say, let me just drop something. Make sure that you subscribe, you like, and comment. So see you in the next episode.